Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Cumming, Georgia, it's time for Forsyth Business Radio.
And hello and welcome to the debut episode of Forsyth Business Radio. I am your host, Amanda Pierce, and it is with great pleasure that I introduce our guests today, Neill Waters and Lee Wright of U.S. Auto Sales. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. I'm very excited to have you on the debut show. We are seated here at the table together, and this is a platform that just gives information about the great work you and your company are doing in the community. So I'd like to start off with educating our listeners a little bit about your organization and what you do within. And we will start with Neill.
Yeah, thanks. So U.S. Auto Sales has been around for 30 years, coming up next year. We were founded in 1992. We have now 36 stores across 5 states, getting ready to enter into our 6th state in Alabama, but we're in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida right now. And it's a growing business, and it's an exciting time to be in used car sales. And we support and serve communities and consumers that are more sort of credit challenged consumers, maybe have had a rough time in their life, something happened to them, and they've kind of come on hard times. But we can help them get into a car with financing and a quality, what we call a better vehicle than they might be able to get into otherwise. So we sell thousands of cars a year and have thousands of happy customers on the books.
That's amazing, especially because we're in a time that there's a vehicle shortage. So the fact that you guys are booming and thriving is very exciting. And I feel to reference what you did within the organization, I apologize. Neill is the Chief Marketing Officer, and Lee is the Communication Specialist. And I'll let Lee unpack that a little bit for us.
Yes, I just started about a month ago at U.S. Auto Sales. I was very attracted to the company because of its growth, because of how it continues to add more and more stores, more and more dealerships to the mantra. We're about to be 6 states strong next month with a new dealership in Montgomery, and I'm sure there's other cities that are on the horizon in the great state of Alabama. We're in the process of finishing up Albany, getting a dealership open in Memphis, Nashville, Chattanooga, Johnson City. So Tennessee is becoming very strong. Obviously, the Carolinas is very strong as well. And what I like the fact is this company really does a great job supporting the military. A few of our dealerships are in military towns. You're talking Fayetteville, North Carolina, where Fort Bragg and the Pope Air Force is. Columbus, where Fort Benning is. Augusta has Fort Hood. Jacksonville has the Naval Air Station down there. So we do a great program for our men and women in uniform, and we depend on them a lot for our sales as well. You look at our sales list. A lot of those dealerships are doing great with the men and women of uniform.
This is going to be a bizarre question, but it just came to me as you were
Sure.
saying that. I have lots of friends who served in the military for decades, and when they came home, they were kind of displaced as far as what they did translating back into the civilian world. And a lot of them turned to auto sales. Do you find that you also employ a lot of people who were previously in the military?
Yes, we do, actually. And so that's a very fair and good question. And we actually give our veterans, those that came out of serving, Veterans Day off. So they get to take that day off. And we used to do a Veterans Day breakfast, but now they're not in the office. They're taking the day off. So yes, absolutely. We have a lot of veterans and military personnel that work within our dealerships.
Exciting. Thank you for entertaining
You're
my
welcome.
curiosity.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I do want to congratulate you guys because you're celebrating your 30th year in operation, as you mentioned when we started. And you guys started in Lawrenceville, which is right in Gwinnett, back in 1992. What would you guys say that sets U.S. Auto Sales apart from other similar companies?
Yeah, so we have some flexible programs that allow people to I'll back up a little bit. Sorry. Not only do we sell cars, we also finance the cars. So we're a one-stop shop for consumers. So they don't have to get bank financings elsewhere, bring in a pre-qualified letter from their bank. They can get financing from us directly. Mm-hmm. And that's 100% of our deals come with our financing. So I think that's one thing that sets us apart. There are dealerships that offer that. other than U.S. Auto Sales, but it's not as common as you would think. And so I think that's one differentiating factor. Otherwise, I think, we were very flexible in the ways that consumers can pay us. So like they don't have to, a lot of times when you make a purchase of this vehicle's purchase or house purchase, you're making a down payment. We're flexible with how you make your down payment. You can make it over time. You don't have to make it all at once. So like,
That's nice.
Let's say you know that you're going to come into money today, 2 weeks from now, and 4 weeks from now. We can allow you to pay in that way. So I think there's a few things just like that differentiate us, set us apart from our competition, and really give consumers flexibility in how they want to do business in terms of their car purchase.
So you can kind of tailor the purchase to the person's needs.
Yes, absolutely. And because they finance with us, their pay schedule, the way that they pay us, is oftentimes matched with how they get paid.
Yes.
In their life.
The first and the 15th, or
exactly.
so on and so forth.
Yep, exactly. So, there's some flexibility there, and consumers like that.
It's all about the consumer. It's all about the consumer, and we fit their needs that they want. And because, as Neill mentioned previously, a lot of these consumers, these customers, they have some troubles with credit. They have some challenges with credit, and they've been through some tough times. And we're just giving them an extra opportunity to purchase that car they've always wanted, or that car that they need to be a part of their daily lives.
Right, and continue to get them to their career that makes the dollars for the purchase and the life.
Exactly.
That's really nice of you, especially today. I can think back to the times, there's only been, 2 times that I've purchased a car from a dealership. One was a new car. And how you're talking about kind of eliminating that middleman of the lending process. I will never forget how I had to call, I was calling the bank, I had to give this, and it was just like, it was so stressful, and it took hours to do. And you guys kind of dissolve that by being the one-stop shop, like you said.
When I bought my first car, I went through the same thing. It was an all-day deal, and I'm like, I never want to do that again.
Yeah.
I never want to go through something like that again. Make it simple, make it quick, make it efficient. Mm-hmm. Efficiency is what we really talk about when we talk about the cars that we sell and to the people we sell.
Because time is our most valuable asset, so you're not wasting anybody's time. I like it. So do you also purchase used vehicles from people, or are you only in the business of selling them?
Yeah, good question. You mentioned the inventory shortage.
Yeah.
There's definitely an inventory shortage, and so anyone looking to sell a car, we'll take it. Whether we resell it or we send it to auction, we'll buy anybody's car. That's becoming more and more of a piece of our supply chain, is buying cars from public quality cars from public that we can resell. And so if you're looking to sell a car, let us know. We'll buy it from you.
A lot of the reason right now that there's such a shortage is we bought a lot of our cars from rental car companies when they reach a certain mileage. But now, because of the shortage, a lot of rental car companies are keeping their cars a lot longer. It used to be when a car would hit 30 to 40,000 miles, boom, put it out for sale, resell it. Wow. Or put it on retail for resales. Now they're holding their cars till about 50 or 60,000 miles simply because they need the vehicles.
Absolutely.
And that's what's causing this shortage right now in our country when it comes to automobiles.
That's cool to know, the 30,000 mile mark, because you don't really ever see rental cars with too many miles on it. And then also, that's a fantastic sell for you guys. That's extremely low mileage to have on a vehicle for you guys to resell.
Yes.
I know you guys are activists within the community, and I tip my hat because you guys have a new partnership, a corporate partnership, with the Boys and Girls Club. And I'd like for you guys just to share with our listeners about the great work you're doing with that organization and a little bit more about the partnership. And I'll direct that to you, Lee.
Well, we just started this. This is a brand new partnership. It was probably matter of fact, we're announcing it today, actually, that this is a new partnership. We did a program this summer for a back to school program where people donated school supplies, backpacks, notebook paper, pens, pencils, calculators, you name it, and had about 1,800 backpacks to donate to families. And that's what really spearheaded this interest in a corporate partnership. And now that we have it on the books, we're going to do another
year after
back
year.
to school holiday special these next couple of weeks, because usually when the kids go back to school in January, it's time to replenish the supplies.
Yes.
So, I mean, it means a new backpack, a new notebook paper, new pens, new pencils. So we're going to have this at all of our dealerships, holiday back to school drive. And I think it's going to be a big success and help a lot of families that are in need, that do need the help when it comes to sending their kids back to school.
With a nice, fun new backpack, because every kid likes to have a new backpack, to start the year off with. Let me ask you a question again out of curiosity. Are these things donated just by the community, or are you working specifically with an Office Depot that's giving you a break on a number of items? How do you get the stuff for the backpacks?
It's more organic. It's more customers that might come in that might want to donate. It's our employees contributing and donating. I would imagine that there'll be some outreach to friends and family of employees to get donations. We do have a partnership. We do work with Staples as one of our providers, but the goal really is to have it organically donated by employees mainly and their families and friends. And we're gonna hand the box of supplies or boxes of supplies in many cases directly to the Boys and Girls Club. It's going to them. So as Lee mentioned, we just kicked off this corporate partnership with them. We just inked the deal a couple weeks ago. And so we feel good that our very first initiative with them, Give Back initiative with them, is right now. And so over the next couple of weeks, our 36 dealerships will be collecting supplies. We'll be collecting supplies at our Duluth home office, and we'll be delivering those right after the first of the year directly to the Boys and Girls Club. So we're hopeful that they're excited that we're participating in the relationship immediately.
I'm sure they are. And for those listening out there that would like to make a contribution, what would be the best way that they could participate or maybe donate?
Good question. I have not thought about that, but I think that the best way would be that they could. We have several dealerships around the Atlanta metro area. You name it, Marietta.
They can visit
Lithia Springs,
usautosales.info to find
That's right.
a dealership near them.
They can. Yep. There's a locations page. They can find the closest location to them and drop off any of the school supplies that they want. And we'll have donation boxes there, and we'll welcome it with open arms at those dealerships. So that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. Very nice. Well, kudos to your partnership. I'm sure that they're going to gain a lot, and so will you. Speaking of philanthropy, let's just dive in a little bit more. You've got a rich history here, 30 years of operation. Outside of your new partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, what type of community focus does U.S. Auto Sales have, or how do you kind of give back?
Yeah, we Lee mentioned the back to school supply drive we had going in September last year. That was kind of the first of large scale give back events that we've done across our 36 stores. Other than that, it's more isolated. We do some youth sponsorship type events. We have participated with food banks, donations. We've done Toys for Tots type drives around the holidays. It's been a little bit more isolated and ad hoc, but we certainly have an employee base that really does like to give back to the community and the communities that they serve. So we have people throwing out ideas left and right because they want to give back. And so we felt like this partnership with Boys and Girls would be a way to more formalize a more structured give back campaign that we could leverage over the course of a 12-month period. Not that we wouldn't do other things for our communities, but this helps us really get behind and rally behind one cause that benefits the youth of America.
And make a greater impact.
And if I could add something to that as well, piggyback on what Neill just said, a lot of our employees grew up in the Boys and Girls Club of America. So they're very familiar with the organization and what it has to offer. And it's always that time period from 3 to 5 p.m. every day where kids are challenged the most because they're getting out of school, they go home. A lot of times their parents are working.
Still at work, yeah.
And what can they do? Well, that's what the Boys and Girls Club of America is there for. So a lot of our employees, whether it be in our corporate office or at our dealerships, grew up in that organization. So this is a good chance for them to get refamiliarized with something they grew up with.
Near and dear to their heart.
And one of the reasons Yeah, good point, Lee. And one of the reasons that we selected the Boys and Girls Club is because there was such a great overlap with our store footprint. And we felt like while we could find an organization to get affiliated with here in the Atlanta area, we felt like we wanted our store locations to feel part of that and be involved locally too. And so each of our stores has a contact at their local Boys and Girls Club, and that's one of the driving forces behind partnering with Boys and Girls Club, other than of course the obvious, the cause that the Boys and Girls Club represents.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. It sounds like that your organization is rich in culture and family, and you guys not only support the outside, but you also support the inside. So it's kind of bred from the inside out, if that makes sense. Speaking of sourcing talent, as you're growing, how are you sourcing your talent to kind of keep up with the demand of the dealerships that are popping up? And then beyond that, do you guys have an online auto sales division? I'm sure you do have inside sales. So how are you guys finding laborers in this era where nobody's out there working?
Well, it is a difficult time, and you mentioned the shortage of inventory. I feel like there's a shortage of employee talent too, which is crazy. But so we are definitely always hiring. We, our one of the highest turnover positions that is commonplace, not just in our business, but in most is sales. And so we are constantly sourcing for sales associates to staff our store locations. We feel like the more people we have on staff, the more we can sell. And so we're constantly looking for talent, and we have job boards on our website. We leverage LinkedIn, Indeed, you name it. We're trying to get creative in terms of how we source employees. We now offer a sign-on bonus for our sales associates. I mean, you have to get creative. It's very competitive out there, and you see now hiring signs up left and right all over the place as you're driving around the community. And so we do need good people, and I think that you can certainly make a very good living here at U.S. Auto Sales, and our sales associates that have the drive and the hustle really like working here.
And we have to keep up with it because we're opening new stores a lot. I mean, like I said, Albany's about to open. Memphis is about to open. Next month it's going to be Montgomery, and there's going to be more after that. So we got to keep up with the demand. It's big time. I could give you an example of what Neill just said. The day I got offered my position, the HR lady called me and left me a message. I tried to call her back and call her back and call her back. She had been through, I want to say, 50 to 60 interviews that day alone. That tells you how much that we're trying to get full capacity. We're trying to be 100% capacity with our employees, and how much we do need help. It's
Absolutely.
out there.
Do you guys use a recruiter, or you were talking about LinkedIn, or do you field those sources yourself?
We do have an internal recruiting team, but they are busy, as Lee just alluded to. I mean, we're hiring technicians for our reconditioning facility. We're hiring sales associates for our stores. We've got a corporate staff, and Lee has mentioned a couple times we're adding stores. That just means we need to add people, and they are busy. Our recruiters are busy. So typically we do most of that in-house.
I imagine, though, because you guys, again, going back to the culture, when you're looking for these people to fill the roles, you want to make sure that they're aligned with your company's vision and that they can perform to your standards.
That's very important. That's very important because, I mean, it's all about your company, and when it comes to the company, it's all about the consumers. So it's one connected right to another. To
the other, you're right. Now, Neill, you had mentioned you were with the company for how long?
I've been here 5.5 years now.
5.5 years.
Yep.
And then you've just joined the team.
I just joined. I just finished my first month, so yes, it's.
Do you have a background in auto?
No, I do not. Well, kind of. I worked in the rental car business for a little while as a transport driver, so I'm kind of familiar with what they would do and how they buy their cars. Because, like I said, they buy a lot of their U.S. Auto buys a lot of its cars from rental dealership, rental car companies when the cars reach a certain mileage. So
just go scoop them up.
And they're ready to go.
And what about you? Did you have a background in marketing prior to your role?
Yes, I joined from a provider to the automotive dealer. So I was in B2B, so the dealerships were my customers. I worked for a company in Indianapolis that provided automotive financing to dealers. So it's called floor planning. It's an industry term. It's a line of credit that dealers use to buy cars. And U.S. Auto is very familiar with that. And it's so I worked for 12 years. And my last several years there was head of marketing for that organization. So automotive, not new to me, but to the consumer
B2C,
marketing world, yes, new to me and over the past 5.5 years at least. So
did you move to Georgia for this role?
I did.
Wow.
Yep, I did.
Exciting.
Yeah, so I moved from Indianapolis, and I love the South. I love Georgia. My family loves it here, and it's all good.
My background mainly is in communications, public relations, and media relations. Yes, I was a sports information director at the intercollegiate athletic level for about 14 years. My last 2 jobs after that were in the nonprofit sector with Special Olympics Georgia and the American Cancer Society, a fantastic organization. So this is new. I'm new to the corporate world, but I'm getting my feet wet rather fast.
Well, I knew the minute you jumped on the mic that you had experience on the microphone before, so that makes sense, being that you're in the media sector. I also work closely with the American Cancer Society as well. Every October, we host what we call the Pink Out, and we support the Real Men That Wear Pink of Atlanta.
I'm very familiar with that program, yes.
So we'll have to talk more about that sometime.
Definitely, yes.
So throughout your roles, I'm just curious, again, with your growth, do you guys have maybe a task force, or do you have to go to the new locations and help ramp up the teams, or do you have people in those areas for that? How does the kind of launch process look as you grow?
It's pretty complex. That's a fair question. And I'm very involved in scouting for new properties. Found the Nashville property, found our Memphis property. So I personally am on the road looking for dealership locations that make sense for us. And it's not just the city, it's where in the city and what road and what's available. So yeah, that process can be lengthy. Sometimes there's nothing available. Sometimes there's lots available and you've got options. And so I'm involved in scouting for the properties. And then, yes, you mentioned task force. We do have a new store task force and a playbook. So we have developed this playbook over the past 5.5 years since I've joined, and we have a task force with subject matter experts from different parts of the organization that help us get the stores open. So from IT is critical, our facilities team, marketing once the store gets close to open, launching campaigns such as some radio campaigns, paid search, you name it. We're trying to drive leads into that dealership as soon as it opens. And it's funny you ask. We just really been through this, very fresh in my mind with Nashville. Our Nashville store just opened yesterday.
Wow.
And so the task force has been busy. We've been constant communication is the key on that. So it's letting people know where we are with certain steps in the playbook at any given point, so that because somebody else is relying on you to know when your piece is done, what's next. I have to do this once I know this is done. And so it's pretty complex opening new stores, but it feels good when they're open, when they're done. We tend to sometimes have like a mini grand opening event in these markets. So I've hosted several of those over the years, and it is a lot of fun. The stores and the employees get super excited when we add stores, and it's really a fun part of U.S. Auto Sales.
And it's a great way to engage the community too, because when they see all the balloons and the ribbons, they're like, hey, what's going on? You can get them on the lot, give them some food, and collect some cards or some leads, like you said.
Yep. Food is always a driver.
Definitely.
Lee, as the communication specialist, are you responsible for kind of driving attention to these openings?
I want to do a lot more of that, yes. I mean, I definitely want to get the name out there. If we open next month, we're going to open a new store in Montgomery. I want to get with the Montgomery media down there, let them know, hey, this is the first store we have in the state of Alabama. It's here in the capital city of Montgomery. Maybe we're going to try and get radio to be there or something like that, maybe a live feed or whatever might be possible. Get the Montgomery Advertiser newspaper in their business section to really promote this and get it going that, hey, new used car business coming to Montgomery, we think it's going to be a great success.
And then also, again, it would help people that might be seeking employment. They would understand that, hey, you know what? I have a little bit of an interest or some experience in that world, and this is coming to my town, and they can connect with you as well.
Most definitely.
Another bizarre question. It's the third one for the show. I've been keeping count.
All right, this
so
one's
curious.
for you, Lee.
Okay, Lee.
I'll try.
When you mentioned that you have to find properties or find dealerships, do you guys acquire other dealerships, like maybe a failing dealership, that lot and maybe some of their cars, and you rebrand it, or do you seek physical real estate to build from the ground up, or a combination of the two?
I think we do find a lot of former dealerships. Neill would know a lot more about this, but I think a lot of our recent properties that we've opened were former car dealerships or were on former car dealership lots. So it's kind of like we refurbish our cars and get them back out. We're refurbishing these dealerships and making it look brand new again.
Right. Why reinvent the wheel? They've already got the pave, they've got the service center, so on and so forth.
The building's already there. We don't have to build a new building. The building's already there. We just got to spruce it up, give it some tender loving care, brand it, and make it look like it's ours.
The reason I asked is there's so many empty or dead looking car dealerships. Why would anybody build another one when they could just acquire that one?
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
That is really my target when I'm in a market. I really want to try and find a former dealership. If it gets a little bit more complicated when you're trying to convert, I don't know, some kind of other retail establishment into a dealership. All cities have different permitting processes, zoning, you name it, usage opportunities. And so the former dealership route really has seemed to work for us. We do not acquire existing dealers as part of our growth strategy. We're not in the M&A mode, but we do, as Lee said, look for former dealerships to spruce up.
Nice. Well, you guys, I've talked your ear off with all these bizarre questions, and we've already eaten up 30 minutes. You guys were worried earlier that we might not get through that. I want to give you both the opportunity to share anything that I might have missed or overlooked about your organization or personally with our listeners before we end the show today. And I'll parlay to you, Mr. Lee.
Well, I say get involved with this holiday back to school drive that we got going with Boys and Girls Club of America. Our new corporate partnership is off and running, and we are excited about it and what we can do as a company for that organization. We look to help the kids in every way possible as they get ready to go back to school, replenishing those supplies and making it a lot easier on the families when it comes to this time of year when they go back to school in early January. So we're excited about this corporate partnership. We are excited about what we can do for Boys and Girls Club of America as to what they can do for us as well. So something we've been looking for a long time. We've got it, and now it's the ball's rolling on it.
It's rolling, making an impact.
Yeah, and I would echo those comments about boys and girls. We're that's top of mind for us. We think it's something that will resonate not only with our customer base, but also with our employees and the community that we serve. So super excited about the opportunity to partner with the Boys and Girls Club of America. I'm personally excited to be part of U.S. Auto Sales and its growth story. It's been an exciting 5.5 years for me. It's been not a dull moment. I've learned along the way. I've met a lot of great people, and really excited to continue my career story in the automotive sector. It's a really fun place to work and be, and I'd encourage anybody that's thinking about automotive to make that leap. It's a fun place to work, and I just kind of want to wish everybody a happy holiday.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to everybody out there. Make it a safe one too.
Well, I can tell you guys are both passionate about what you do and your organization. So I look forward to checking back in with you guys and exploring some of the growth that you guys mentioned and seeing where we are maybe in a couple years or even 6 months.
That sounds great.
If anybody wanted to get in touch with you or learn more about purchasing a vehicle or maybe filling a role within your organization, how could they do that?
Yeah, I would say our website's probably the driver, as most companies would say today. It's usautosales.info. Almost messed that one up. Or you can find us on Facebook. Each of our stores have a Facebook page, and so find us in any of those locations, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you.
And you guys Google, again, www.usautosales.info
.info.
to find the dealership nearest you so you can take a look at some of their awesome used vehicles when you can't find anywhere else in the world. And so you can make a donation to the Boys and Girls Club. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the debut episode. Again, Neill Waters here and Lee Wright. And they've been so kind to bear with me in all my bizarre turns through the conversation. If you guys want to stay connected with us on social media, you can find us at Forsyth Radio X. And again, I am Amanda Pierce, and you've been listening to Forsyth Business Radio.